Hey everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to be doing a smash or trash review today on a newly released book. So the book I'm going to be talking about is this one over here. It is The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg. This book has just been released, I think either tail end of June or beginning of July. Actually, I think it was beginning of July. It was one that I was actually really looking forward to. I think it was Brittany the Bibliophile, who I watched, who was talking about this book ahead of its release, or it may have been released earlier in the States. But she was talking about this, and she did a really cool like a makeover video on this book based on sort of the characters on it. And when she was talking about it, it just really piqued my interest. So it was kind of on my new books to buy this month list. So I'll give you a quick synopsis about it, and then I'll tell you what I thought. So The Kingdom, and you can see by the cover, first of all, I think that's a really cool cover. So you can see at the top they're all very pretty, and then underneath the surface, not so pretty. So the premise of this book is it is a YA book, and it is about the kingdom, kind of a Disneyland meets Westworld-esque resort or destination or theme park. This book is set in the future, so it's I suppose it's a dystopian, futuristic dystopian book, where this kingdom is, like I say, it's kind of like a Disneyland. Families go there. It's an attraction. In the future, animals have died out. The oceans have gone extinct, and the kingdom kind of preserves that. They recreate species, they bring back dinosaurs and mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, and they basically use genetics and technology kind of to create these hybrid animals. And what they've also created for this kingdom is what they call fantasists. Now, fantasists there's 7 of them, and they're kind of like the Disney princesses of this world. They are all girls, they are beautiful, they are created, again, through a mixture of genetics and engineering. So basically AI, artificial intelligence, and they are there to be beautiful, they're there to be helpful. Their thing is like, whatever, we never say no, we always say yes unless you want us to say no. We're here for your pleasure, we're here for your joy, we want you to be happy. It's kind of a little bit of that kind of Disney happiest place on earth, but take it to a bit of a darker place, which I really liked. I really loved that kind of premise. I also love the idea that within this, you have like a thriller element. So within the book, you have the storyline going back and forth. So the premise here is that one of the fantasists, Anna, she's been accused of murder. She's murdered someone, a human. And throughout the book, you're going back, so pre-trial with kind of the narrative and the storyline, and then you're also going through kind of court documents, almost like a transcript of the court proceedings as well. And that was another kind of element that I liked about this book. So it kind of was a little bit multimedia-ish. So I'll find one of the entries for you. So you can see there, it's the court transcript. And then towards the end of the book, it reminded me a little bit of, not in any way as sort of comprehensive, but of Night Film, where you started getting... you start getting images as well. So it kind of has a bit of a multimedia element to it, which I liked. And I like this idea of, you've got this thriller, you've also got this kind of twisted kingdom. And I think this book, I will say I really enjoyed it. This book was a 4-star read for me. I loved this kind of weird, twisted idea of like a Disneyland and a kingdom, and it's kind of that what lies beneath the surface. So I always find when you go to these places, everything's happy, cheery, bright, sparkly. You always think, what sort of sits behind that? What is the undertow? What do things really look like from kind of the staff's perspective, from people working there, from what does it take to make something so shiny, happy, sparkly? And this kind of investigates that as well. I think it does really well on issues of morality, of also asking that question is, what does it mean to exist, to be alive? These fantasists are there to make people happy, but they're not seen because they're genetic and they're AI essentially. Are they actually, do they have rights? Can they feel? Can they learn? So that's one of the core questions as part of this trial, is that the question is has the machinery gone wrong? Has the programming gone awry? Or has Anna, as an essentially artificial intelligence, a robot, learned to have human characteristics, learned to feel, to think for herself. And I think that's really fascinating. And I love that element of this book. I think it's really interesting. It also, I think, really asks that question around, again, still how we see women. You know, the whole sort of Love Island thing in terms of, oh, everybody's got to be pretty, everybody's got to be beautiful. And it's funny because when you see the description, so when there's a bit where they've got like the advertisement for this kingdom, and it's like, come and see these fantasists and they're strong women, and you know, you can be anything you want to be. But then there's a checklist, and that's why I'm paging through this. I'm trying to find the checklist. So you can see that, I don't know if you can see that, but you've got a checklist there of how you rate your fantasist. And the very first thing is beauty, kindness, conversation, sweetness, gown, helpfulness, charm, memory, smile, cuteness, face, attentiveness, body, affection, gentleness, obedience. And that just sends a shiver up my spine, is that kind of idea that even in the future, even, you know, have we actually moved on? Do we still only view women in terms of how they look and how sweet and cute and smiley they are? So I really like that element of this book. I think that it asks the question really well, and I think it's really interesting. And I think it asks the question of kind of humanity, morality, love really well as well. So I really enjoyed it. I think you can read it as a standalone, personally. I was quite satisfied with the ending, although I feel like Jess is setting it up for a possible sequel, which I would read. But I think you can kind of, if you're somebody that doesn't necessarily want a sequel or wants to read a standalone, I don't think you have to have a sequel to this book. And like I said, I don't know if she has or hasn't, because this has just come out. I haven't found an indication that she is planning on a sequel, but yeah, I like the idea of this. I like the premise, and I love the idea of kind of the murk that lies beneath all the happy shiny. So I thought this was good. This was definitely a 4-star read for me. Enjoyed it. Recommended if you like any of those themes, if you think that sounds interesting to you. Yeah, so definitely a smash one for me. So yes, thank you for listening to me. Let me know what you think if you've read The Kingdom, or if you have any recommendations on something similar that you think I might enjoy. And I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye-bye.